welcome to the Elusive Truth with Rich and Larry. Larry is with us today, and he has so much to say, so let's get right to it, and please sit back, relax, as we lean into the rabbit hole.
Morning, Rich.
Gary, how are you doing today?
Oh, good. How about yourself?
Not too bad.
If anything else comes in, I guess I'm last in line. Last line of defense.
So how's your week going?
It's just getting crazier and crazier and more interesting. That, I got a new saying now. You know what's the difference on conspiracy theorists and truthers?
What?
6 months.
Yeah, pretty much. You got that right.
You're a conspiracy theorist today, Rich. 6 months from now, you are a real truther. I mean, I'm looking back at some of the stuff that we thought was going to happen during the election and the insurrection or whatever that was in January and all, Trump swearing in and Biden and all. We were thinking, okay, it's going to go, in our reality that we expected. We didn't expect that it was the beginning of a shift into a new reality, that this plan has been going on and on and on. And we were victims led by disinfo to push this to some degree, I'm thinking. Like we thought for sure Pence was going to come in there and fix the fix. Remember, he had the ability to do that.
Right, to object to the electoral vote.
Yes, and not certify all the elections. And I'm just thinking, here we are sitting there saying, how can it go wrong? I mean, Pence is Trump's VP. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so I just thought of that the other day when my little niece, I gotta say that because she's so woke, I can't describe her any other way. When she says, everything you've ever said, Uncle Gare, never comes true. Oh, and I was telling her about aliens. There's no such thing. I'm like, Genevieve, you are very smart. She's valedictorian, college graduate, double majors. These are the kind of people that are unwilling. I don't know if I'm getting into a wrong rant here, but I'm just running into this stuff through my daily life of talking to family and friends and kind of analyzing what I'm seeing and hearing.
Right.
This is a battle we are in, and we are the ones asked to step up. Like when there's a battle and they say, okay, who's going to go on the front lines? Half of them or whatever. I will. And then there's those that are scared, and those that don't believe in it, they start stepping back and back and back. And the real fighters for the truth and God or whatever they're fighting for are frontliners. I think that we're in that role almost.
Well, my first suggestion would be for your niece is turn her on to James Gilead with the SETI News Radio and let her listen to him for a little bit.
That would be a good start. Yeah. Did you watch Saturday? He's in Hawaii now.
Oh, he's in Hawaii now? That must be nice.
There's a conference down there, and he's one of the asked to be a guest speaker of some sort.
So, I mean, it's good. I mean, I just think it's funny, and the thing is that what we're seeing is that there's a lot of people out there that no matter what you say or what you do, they believe what they believe, and that's it. They've been indoctrinated into this for the past 2 years of what's going on, and they believe they are the righteous ones and we are the heathens. That's why they came up with this vaxxer and anti-vaxxer and this division between white and black and everything else. I mean, it's a
clear agenda to see. You can see it's a fixed agenda for evil.
Well, and that's my whole point, is that it's there right in front of us, but in some of the people who can actually think and do some research can get past this narrative. But you have a whole bunch of people that no matter what you do, they're going to continue this narrative. We were at the supermarket this weekend, and there was a line of people getting their jabs for their kids.
I don't want to laugh. It's sad.
It is sad. I mean, and especially right now with the information coming out from, all over the world, I think there needs to be a pause. They need some more explaining to do. And with this new Omicron, I mean, it's amazing. It's been 1 week since it's been here in the United States, and now it's in 15 different states, and there's hundreds infected. They're still saying the only people infected are the people that got the jab. So I'm waiting for it to come out and say, "Oh, it's the unvaccinated. They're clogging up the hospital still."
I don't know if they can go there yet, because it is all the vaccinated that have been getting it, and it started supposedly in South Africa. But you know what South Africa is the mecca of?
What?
it's there's so many underground bases and tunnels in Africa. It's been one of the uppity, remote places on Earth that people could come and go and not be noticed, and I think the reason they got the Omicron to start there is because that's a little guys have. If there's a lockdown coming up in the next few weeks, like Australia is, it's going to be in South Africa, because that is where they really got to go in and get some of these bases cleaned up, and it's the last bases to destroy.
Well, see, that's weird, because everything that we've been researching and finding out about South Africa is that they have the lowest vaccinated people, and they have the lowest COVID rates. So they have the Omicron coming from there. You've seen it everywhere. They really tried to push this thing, and now they're coming back. Well, thank goodness it's not. It's a mild form. Thank goodness. We have to be prepared. Case in point is, look what's happening here in Oregon. They want to make the mask mandate
forever.
Yeah, what is that?
Did you hear that word, forever?
What is that? Really? They think, seriously, they have gotten so bad that they really think the mask is going to solve all our problems. We've been wearing the mask for 2 years now, and the infection rate and the death rate is ridiculous.
And it's proven the mask does not help a thing.
It's seriously, I don't understand why
it doesn't work.
They keep pushing this narrative. Here's Joe Biden's latest on the vaccine mandates. CNBC reporter asked Joe some questions. Here it is.
Mr. President, is this the new normal that Americans should expect, anticipating future potential variants? Should we expect intermittent travel restrictions and potential drops in the stock market going forward? Do you have any words of reassurance that this won't become the new normal? And then for both you and Dr. Fauci said earlier on CBS that lockdowns, shutdowns are off the table for restraining COVID going forward. You said that won't be part of your plan on Thursday. But why is that? Why are you taking that off the table?
Well, to answer your first question first, the answer is I expect this not to be the new normal. I expect the new normal to be everyone ends up getting vaccinated in the booster shot, so we reduce the number of people who aren't protected to such a low degree that we're not seeing the spread of these viruses. Now, we remain to be seen exactly what the elements of this particular strain are, but if they're, as I hope, then it's not going to be fundamentally different than in the past. In terms of, what was the second part of the question?
Are lockdowns off the table?
Yes, for now, yes.
Why is that?
Well, because we're able to, if people are vaccinated and wear their masks, there's no need for the lockdown.
So,
my last question.
Yes, going on from that question, we've got the Christmas period coming up, huge amount of travel. Would you give any thought to domestic flights requiring test or vaccine before people get on planes the same way as they do for international flights?
Well, at this point, that's not been recommended. I would wait for the scientific community to give me a recommendation on that.
Are travel restrictions too late to be effective, sir, given that Dr. Fauci says this new variant could already be here?
You understand the point of the travel of the restriction, to give us time to get people to get protection, to be vaccinated and get the booster. That's the reason for it. Get vaccinated. Thank you all so very, very much. I appreciate it. Get vaccinated.
When you look at Florida has the lowest cases of COVID, and no mask mandates. And they're really pushing hard, not, you don't need this vaccine unless you need it. You make the choice. You're not required to have it to go to work and et cetera. I mean,
I don't even know if I can believe any numbers of any sort from anywhere in the world on this. I think they're all fabricated. I mean, we don't even know what's going on with this. I mean, we only get what the media shoves down our throats.
Yeah, but we don't.
And we don't have any idea what's going on in South America, Africa, India. We have no clue as to how come Vietnam had like no cases. And it's a tightly populated Asian country.
Right. Well, it goes back to what I was talking to you earlier about that, some people never got COVID because they have such a strong immune system.
Yes.
They don't talk about those people because it's the unvaxxed versus the vaxxed, and that's all there is. And they make it that if you're not vaccinated, you're the evil one. The last podcast I had Joe Biden saying this is a pandemic of the unvaccinated. That's his opening statement. What the hell was that? I have another clip to play for you today. Here is de Blasio, New York City mayor, going ahead with his vaccination mandate.
A lot of folks in the private sector have said to me they believe in vaccination, but they're not quite sure how they can do it themselves. Well, we're going to do it. We're going to do this so that every employer is on a level playing field. One universal standard starting December 27th. We're going to be working with businesses all over the city. It's cold weather, which we know presents a real challenge with COVID in every form. It's the holiday gatherings coming up. There's a lot going on. And what we're seeing now in other parts of the world, and this is really an area of tremendous concern, we're seeing restrictions starting to come back. We're seeing shutdowns. Look at Germany right now. Such a strong nation in so many ways, but the situation there has gotten to a really troubling place. So now they're reinstating a lot of restrictions that we all hoped were part of the past. We cannot let those restrictions come back. We cannot have shutdowns here in New York City. We got to keep moving forward. It's not something we can't handle. We have the tools, but we have to use those tools aggressively. And we have to move quickly. And that's why I describe the actions we're taking today as a preemptive strike. Get ahead of this problem before it deepens and use the thing that works, vaccination. Get vaccinated.
Well, this is still their agenda of this pandemic. They created it. They don't want their little top secret plan to have gone away yet. Their depopulation is what it is.
The conspiracy theory. Just sit back and then 6 months later, well, it was not a conspiracy. It was the truth. Just like even you've been sending me videos on, doctors and fake vaccines and fake lot numbers and who knows who's getting what. And I mean, it's just nuts.
Well, I just heard on the news today, a guy got caught selling 600 fake COVID cards, shot vaccination cards.
Number one.
Oh, they're threatening him 20 years per card.
Exactly. See how ridiculous.
Oh.
Ridiculous.
That's the worst thing you could have ever done in the world. Not stealing a presidential election through an internal coup. Now that isn't so bad.
Well, hopefully this guy gets, his 25 years per card, because then that means half the Senate and the House will have fake cards because they know what's going on. There's just no way. Like I said, there was too many things throughout 2 years, especially now. Like 2 weeks ago, we were almost going into lockdown and emergency orders were being reinstated and across the country because Omicron is on its way and it's bad. And it's a cold, it's a flu, it's getting cold out, becoming wintertime. That's what happens. And people are freaking out to no end. But they use this.
And where's this truth coming from? We're supposed to believe people that have been lying to us forever?
I mean, seriously, up until 2019, hardly any Americans wore a face diaper.
None did.
For over 200 years. 200 years plus.
Well, Michael Jackson did. Come on. He was a famous mask wearer.
Well, that was not because of a COVID. He just wanted to hide his identity. It had nothing to do with COVID or being sick or anything. They're pushing this. And in the state of Oregon, they want everybody to wear a mask. And you heard in Santa Cruz, they require you to wear a mask in your residence. What's up with that?
Well, they can come into your residence then and make sure you're wearing it. And what about Australia?
And I can't believe that. I mean, land of Mad Max and those people. And wow, those people turn into subservient so quick. And yes, we'll do whatever you say, no matter what. And then hopefully I know there's people that are starting to rise up because we're starting to see some of it, but it's very hard to find. People are pushing back. This is ridiculous.
Well, they disarmed Australia. They don't have weapons.
When they have knives. They can still do it. Doesn't matter. Them stupid cops, there should be
Yeah.
done. They're not cops. They're not helping the citizens at all. That whole government needs to be thrown out. It's ridiculous what they did to their citizens. And then you hear about they have these, concentration camps, as Salty calls it, the COVID luxury camps for all the people who suspected of
Those
being
are
with.
prison internment camps.
Did you see how large they are? That's not something that was built overnight. I mean, there are hundreds
no.
and hundreds, and they're putting people in there, and they're putting people in there who test negative for COVID and making
And
them
how long are they keeping them in there for?
minimum 14 days.
Okay.
They will put you in there if they think that you even came close to somebody that had COVID. It's ridiculous. I'm serious. If they started coming here to the United States, started doing the same thing, we're putting you in little camps and for 14 days and we're coming to your house, there'd be a lot of sheep that would follow that and do exactly that. I'm telling you, and I know. Just like here in Oregonian country, no way. Come to my house and you're going to have some lead.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
there's going to be no one to take anybody into internment camps because
Well-
eventually there's going to be too many people. It's like we were alluding to. What's going on? How come we're still going in this route? We don't have all these people saying, hey, enough is enough. And that's why I go back to Florida. They did say enough is enough. Their governor is awesome. He said, no, we're not doing it this way. It's open market. It's your choice. Get back to work. And you have the president going, he's ordering emergency morgues because the people are dying left and right.
Florida has the lowest COVID infection rate, case rate, and infection rate, or COVID estimate, in the country.
No one's dying left or right.
We've just been fed lie after lie. Look at the Como situation, all the lies we've been fed about them. And now they know it's closing in, and they just get rid of them.
So going down the road, we passed Presbyterian, we passed all these hospitals.
Mm-hmm.
They're normal. I have never seen any crazy lines or, oh my God, looks like we're having trouble there. It looks like a normal hospital, normal in and out. They got their little COVID shack out front. That's long lines of people getting tested. None of this. There's, and again, I don't work in a hospital, so I can't tell you, oh my goodness, what's going on. But I'm sure it's just normal stuff. And I'm sure there's some hospitals that apparently have a bunch of COVID people, but we've been lied to for the past 2 years on this whole thing. Seriously, and it's ridiculous. And the people think that a mask, just like I said, for 2 years, we've been self-isolated. Things have been closed down. Things here, they closed down early because of COVID, and everybody makes you wear a mask inside. And what, is it doing anything? No, but let's keep it 100% mask all the time because we got you under control. That's all they're doing. Yet you go down to Portland. When's the last time you've been to Portland? I mean, I'm not saying drive by, going to the airport and doing, your daily deliveries and things like that. But when's the last time you went to Portland and goes, I'm going to have a beer at one of the restaurants here, or I'm going to wait in a long ass line to get Voodoo Donuts? When's the last time you did that?
Like 4 years ago, 5 years ago. You're right.
At least
when we get a guest that comes in town or something, we leave the suburbs and kind of go into Portland, but I wouldn't even take anyone in there now.
No, you can't.
No, you can't.
I mean, that's a whole nother discussion, and that's almost where I thought we were going to go today because the violence is increasing all over American cities, and the numbers are crazy. They're absolutely crazy. And Portland is unique in the fact that they have allowed this. They let the people protest. They let them firebomb everything. They let them smash windows, and the shootings are going crazy. They're still shooting up things left and right downtown. And why would you go there? There's nothing to see except all these people in tents on the side of the street. And then, of course, shootings. Constantly.
What is the number up? Is it over 1,000?
I have no idea. I haven't even
seen. I think it was like they were pushing 1,000 in November, so I think they got to be up to 1,100 by now.
Here's the difference: you have a lot of cities that only report the homicides, like
versus
Chicago.
Shooting. Yeah, you walk away wounded, and that don't count.
Well, in some cities report that that's part of the shooting, and that's where I think that's over 1,000 in Portland for the actual shootings.
Actual shootings, right? But who wants to be involved? And shooting is like a half an inch away from death. At sometimes you get shot and missed your head by a second.
Well, that goes back. They were saying they counted over 7,000 casings. That was 6 months ago. The actual casings on the ground. So that could be considered a shooting.
Yeah.
They're going by a call. So there could be 100 shots. That's one call, so that's one shooting. That number they haven't released. I think that's the one that's over 1,000. But I think we've had 300 deaths, something similar to that. I was looking at Baltimore, and they've went out of control, and Oakland is out of control. Looked at some numbers for Chicago, and
I think Chicago's the worst.
Well, over a week ago, there was 1,009 homicides. People have died from gunshot wounds. So that number, they must have over 7,000 shootings, something to that effect.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just crazy. And it's across the board. They're not doing anything. They say they are. Just like Portland, they go, we're going to have a new police task force, and we're going to have it January 14th. We're all set to go in this new police force that's going to help take care of the crime here in Portland, which I guess is better than how they said they were going to make the shootings a little bit less here in Portland by putting orange barrels in roadways. That's going to stop the shootings. That's what they've been doing for the past.
And they're magically going to fix it by January 14th.
Well, January 14th, that's what we're letting everybody know. The new force is coming out to combat this, so shoot away until then. Seriously, they're nuts.
I'm hearing rumors that Biden actually admitted that he was going to step down if there was a problem.
He thinks everything is peachy keen. He has no idea. He keeps forcing these mandates, and he keeps trying to say that I'm going to enforce it and I'm going to find other judges to overturn and overrule, because right now you can't lose your job for getting shot right now for healthcare workers across the country. And then they, and of course.
What about that 100 employee thing? Is that working?
I have no idea.
I know, because that was a big thing for a while. Any company with more than 100.
Oh, yeah, and there's a lot of people that have done it. I mean, I'm sure Intel has got most of their people vaccinated. A lot of these places have. That's just their downfall, because once the smoke clears and the lawsuits are done and vice versa, the people that were forced to get a vaccination, they're going to own the company.
Well, they should just be hopeful that they got one of the placebos. Did you hear about the different lot numbers of the jab? With the codes built in them as to whether you got a placebo on annual flu shot or the kill jab. If your number ends in 1, you got a placebo. If it ends in 2, you got the annual flu shot. If it ends in 3, if you look at anyone's card from their vaccination, hopefully someone that doesn't get a jab that ended in 3.
Have nothing to do with that. And again, that's all speculation. And
that's good.
And you'll never understand that, because you're not with Pfizer or Moderna or any of these companies that understand what these lot numbers mean. It's irrelevant. It's just like they say, 10 people just died of corona. Really? Where are they? How do we know? We don't know. And we have to take their value at it. Right? Across the board, across the world. There's no way for us to say, it is happening and it isn't happening. We have been able to see where lockdowns are doing all this and there's no change. And you look at Israel, 90% vaccinated, but the Delta variant is still prevalent. And I'm sure they're freaking out over the Omicron, which apparently is not as bad as what they hope to be. I mean, seriously, that's what they wanted it, because they want to keep that fear going. That's why they're saying you need to get the booster. Get your booster.
Yeah.
Get more shots. And everybody it's just, people need to wake up.
There's a lot of people that were first in line for those boosters already.
And that's great. If they think they need it, awesome. But I'm telling you, something is wrong there. You look at the science. They're telling you, look at the science, and they threw science out the window. Again, it's all propaganda, it's all misinformation, and it started from our governments that relayed that information to the media, which kept pounding it into people. And that's why they believe that the only way out of this is that you have to be vaccinated.
Well, we know you give them an inch and they take a mile, and we've showed them we can give them a little and they're taking miles on us.
Oh, they are. And more doctors and cardiologists are coming out and showing a 25% increase in heart attacks and heart problems, all this inflammation, which COVID starts that, and the vaccine apparently just helps it out. It's It's nuts. It really is.
And a lot of doctors are also getting picked off and killed for coming out and telling what's going on.
Top prime athletes are coming down with heart problems.
Oh yeah, dropping like flies.
Over in Europe, soccer players, it's basketball players. It's crazy. It really is. It's nuts. They're treating people, and it just makes no sense. It really is. They rip on the treatment. They don't even talk about the treatment. That if you get it, just go lock yourself in your house for 14 days, and then you're fine. Well, apparently
they've never talked about ivermectin.
But nothing works. They're telling you 14 days. We've been doing 14 days for 2 years, and it's still variants, COVID, and get your boosters and get your vaccinations and keep it up. It's just nuts. Then you hear
I'm so sick of turning the TV on and hearing all that.
It's everywhere. It's stupid. I saw, they were when I was doing my little research on Chicago, they showed that crazy ass mayor in front of a big sign, vax the children.
Oh, I saw that. She's crazy.
They're all crazy. I mean, they spent all that money and time to develop signs and backboard stuff to show what they really want. It's just, and I think they're really pushing, and we're not going to really have any changes in the right direction until next year after the elections. When we can get a lot of these Democrats out and we'll start seeing things change for the better. But until then, it's just going to be nasty, and we have no control over what we're doing. Be happy with less. Don't question anything. Forget the Constitution. Just go about your way and be happy, and we're going to take care of you. Don't worry.
And shut up and do as I tell you.
And here we are going into the holiday season.
It's really a difficult time, but I think from what I'm hearing, Biden could be gone within 10 days and walk out. And I'll tell you that I'm also hearing for sure that in March of 2021, not long ago, 8 months ago, Trump was inaugurated again as the president of the Republic of the United States. And Biden is president of nothing. And they're going to come out and show us why they left him in there, to show the American people that, it had to get this bad to show you the change.
Well, my personal opinion, because it's only opinion, but I hope that's not true. And the reason why I hope it's not true is because if that is true, Trump is doing a terrible job of running the country. It's going to hell.
Actually, he's insulated himself between being the one of the top leaders of the world and the military. The military is in charge. He is still commander-in-chief of the military. That's a fact. But they did not want him being of the military, being responsible for all these different takedowns. The military is doing that. And the military is in charge. And the military is in charge of the world and has worked with 30, 40 of the strongest nations in the world. And I also want to tell you that what else is going to happen in the next few weeks is they're going to talk about Queen Elizabeth having died back in 2018. But they're going to actually do the official getting rid of this clone that's in there now and disclose to the people about she is going to be the trigger for this whole thing. They're going to come out with the first lie of the Queen having been gone for a few years, and we've had a fake in there. And they've given up all their royalty and rights. Look at what's just happened with Prince Harry now. Everything. So when you see anything about the Queen coming up, that's the start of it, because there has been so much nefarious stuff that has happened in London. Let's just hope that's about ready to take place. I got really good hopes and promises for what's coming in. The COVID thing, I'm pretty much over all this. It is in the news continuously, and we hear about it every day. But there's a whole lot more still going on with this criminal coup with 6 countries that have taken over America. and we know about it, and it's all coming down now. I heard all this through a short little interview I heard with John Durham, and he's the Punisher. And they got, why do you think the libs pushed Russia for 4 years and impeached Trump on a Russia collusion? Because they wanted Russia to be the boogeyman. If the libs are talking about something, it's the opposite. They never talk about the truth. I just want to leave you with that. We got some really good stuff coming up here. It's gonna blow people's minds, but it's gonna be good.
Well, people's minds have been blown for a while now, and it's just amazing what's going on with our government, with our elected officials, with other countries, COVID, and everybody's still quiet about Ghislaine Maxwell and the world's largest pedophile in the world.
I don't know if that's just a circus show or not.
They're not letting us in to see what's going on. We're hearing, releases. This is what, week 2 of the trial? And
do you hear how many times Jeffrey Epstein visited the White House? He'd been there 17 times when Clinton was president. What are you going to see Clinton for 17 times?
He's the man. We know what's speculated, and we know what Jeffrey Epstein was. I mean, he's a convicted pedophile. Yet he still hung out with the world's richest people, not through just our country, but part of Prince Andrew.
Oh, yeah. That's part of the royalty that's going down.
Because we're inundated with crazy stuff just in the Americas, we don't hear what really goes on in Great Britain. I'm sure they got their can of worms with everything they do. And just like every country, there's so much information now. It's so little time that to be peaceful and be happy and do like we're supposed to, higher vibrations, peace, love. They are throwing so much negativity and so much oppressive information at us that it really is hard to rise above and meditate and be at one and constantly, because there's no let up ever.
You are spot on that, and that's what we need to do, Rich. We're in this battle for that.
You have definitely said a lot. You've also speculated a lot, so we'll see what happens there.
Hey, I just had to. You know me, I can't help myself.
Yep, no, exactly.
I got to tell you some of the good, crazy stuff, but it'll turn out to not be crazy.
What's good about this is that regardless of what you think, if you think it's too crazy, you think it's a conspiracy theory, it hopefully made somebody wake up a little bit and say, hey, I'm going to research something. I'm going to look a little bit more into this. You sparked my curiosity. I want to see more information, where this is coming from, and start putting a couple things together, which I got to say, that's one good thing about the internet is we're able to get many sources of information. Unfortunately, there's so much disinformation out there that it really makes it a challenge. A little digging goes a long way, and thank goodness we have a lot of influencers on YouTube. Russell Brand, Anthony Brian Logan, just to name, 2 right off the bat. Even Salty Cracker. You might think that guy's nuts.
No, he gets really legitimate info.
He makes you think. Sale Daddy, that guy's crazy. He sounds just like you. Oh, yeah, the Queen was down in 1920, and we have all sorts of, lookalikes, and boy, oh boy, just you wait.
Yeah.
All the craziness but it makes you think, and hopefully it might lead you to, the truth. Just to prove to you that James is not a quack, here's a quick little clip from him.
I found out, too, in my own life is the more you try to push somebody to wake up, the more they push back. Walk away and do your own thing and say, have fun with that, all of a sudden they shift, So sometimes we need to just walk away and live our own lives. And Baba G once said that. He said the best contribution you can give to humanity is to live a thoroughly loving, joyous, healthy, abundant life, and be an example for others. And so.
With that, my friend, you have a great week. We have a lot more to talk about.
Oh, thank you, Rich. And we got a good wild week coming up. You got that right.
All right, my friend, you take care, and we will see you soon.
Thank you very much.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.